My name's Kevin Stitt, and this is my Southwestern story. So thanks, Raul. And all you guys probably know this, but Raul was a complete stud back when we were selling books. So he was from Florida, and somebody I always looked up to. He was a couple years ahead of me, and just a great guy. And you guys all know that. We're lucky to have him. So I'll give you a couple of thoughts back to college. So I was grew up in Norman, Oklahoma, and went to Oklahoma State. Got an accounting degree just because I thought that was the best business degree to get. I was always entrepreneurial, wanted to have my own business, and I was supposed to be the rush chairman for my fraternity that summer. So I was the spring rush chairman, and they wanted me to be the rush chairman. So, but that was like the best job to have at the Beta House in Stillwater, Oklahoma, to be the rush chairman for the summer. And I was walking through the student union, and this guy stops me, Dane Basham, didn't know it at the time, and asked me to fill out a survey. I don't know if y'all still do the surveys to get people over there, but he asked if I had a job that summer, an internship, and I come to a meeting, and I met Hayden Flowers, who was the sales manager. He ran the meeting, and man, I was just intrigued, and something inside of me just said, Kevin, this is going to be really, really good for your future. But like things sometimes happen. I went back to the fraternity house, and they said, "Oh, you're crazy. You don't want to go sell books. That's stupid." And just something kept gnawing at me that this was even though it was super hard, and I knew it was going to be very, very difficult, that this was something that was going to be better for my future. And so I always am the type of person that takes the road less traveled. And so I had two choices there, and it was kind of forking the road in my sophomore year at college at Oklahoma State. I wanted God's blessings. I wanted to do the right thing, and I had this fun summer as rush chairman right in front of me, and all of my fraternity brothers were pushing me to do that. And then I had this opportunity to go better myself in my career, and to think about all the things I was going to learn. And man, it was an agonizing decision, but one that I am so happy that I made the right decision. And I told my friends, I said, hey. I'm going to go sell books for the summer, and didn't know how it was going to be, but I knew I was going to learn a lot, and I just felt like it was going to be the best thing for my future, and I was going to learn a whole bunch about myself. And my first summer, they sent me went to Nashville, did the week-long training, and well, let me back up. My parents, my dad, when I told my parents that I was going to sell books, my dad had actually done that in college, and I didn't even know that at the time. And my dad told me this. He said, "Son, if you can do that, you can do anything that you set your mind to," because it was such a hard job. But my mom was very worried because my older brother was the quote unquote sales guy, and I was a little more reserved, and she was really nervous about could I make it? And I told her, Mom, they're not looking for salespeople. They're just looking for someone who's genuine and is going to work hard and do the 30 demos a day. And so I bought in. I mean, if my sales manager told me to do something, I did it. I memorized that sales talk. I was committed, and I was going to go no matter what happened. I was going to work hard and make it happen. And so I went to Nashville for the week of sales school, and went to Napoleon, Ohio, is where my first summer was. And man, when that first week came about, and I think my first week I hit 360 units, and I was one of the top kids, or all the first year kids, and I was like, couldn't believe it. And then, but that's the way life is too. When you start getting a taste of success, it makes you want to work harder. It makes you want to press in more. And 2 weeks in, I remember sitting on the side of the road, and just like they teach you in sales school, and sitting on the curb and writing my little brother a letter, and tears rolling down my face, because I thought how long I have till the end of the summer, and I had to just continue to get up and work. But those moments when you have to dig deep in that character moment, when you have a choice between, am I going to quit? Am I going to go home, or am I going to persevere? And do I have what it takes to be successful? And those were questions that were just gnawing at me. And again, I mean, I hadn't even graduated from college. Of course, I wasn't a governor. I had big dreams in my heart, but man, I was driven to be successful, and driven to work hard, and to listen to be coachable, which is something that I think a lot of us need, and our young people need more and more of, is to learn to be coachable. We don't have all the answers, and we need people that have been there and done that to give us advice, and then to listen to that. So that first summer ended up, like Mark said, just blew away my expectations. Um, and ended up, being number one in the company, and just couldn't believe it. Came back, and then recruited two 20-man teams, and that was just another great experience. But I want to tell you also, going back for my second summer was probably one of the hardest. Another one of those moments that you're just faced with such an agonizing decision, and you know how it is when you leave. I left Stillwater, and school ended. Our last final was on Friday. We leave Saturday morning. I've been recruiting my last couple guys, making sure I shored up my team. I drove back to Norman, where I was from, to pack all my stuff, and then laid down and knowing that I have to get up at 6 in the morning or 5:30 to drive back to Stillwater to head to Nashville for the summer. Well, now it's the fear of the known. Before it was just the fear of the unknown, and that's tough enough. But I'm not sure, Mark, that the fear of the known wasn't worse, because that night I laid there in my room, fixing to go back for my second summer in Norman, as I was packing my bags, and just the tears and the anguish and the knowing what I was about to have to go step into was almost more than I could handle. And one of my buddies, in fast forward to summer, he had done great his first summer and recruited 3 or 4 guys. He didn't show up to the time when we actually had to leave on that morning, and so I knew what he was experiencing. But again, that's when you have to dig deep and you have to say, you know what, I've made a commitment. I'm not going to be a guy that quits, and I'm going to make that commitment, and I'm going to see it through. And so I remember that second summer going out. But then after you get going, it's just like anything. It's a football game. It's whatever. Then you get going and you realize that you can do it. And 12 weeks, goes by. And when you just, put your head down and work hard, it's amazing what happens. So third summer and then fourth summer, then I graduated from college. I spent a semester over recruiting in Arkansas as I was trying to build my organization. But the friendships that I made with my student manager, my sales manager, the guys that I recruited, they're still my best friends today. Corby McGuire was a guy that I recruited, and Hobie, I've worked with him for 20 years at my company. So these are people that I know that I can count on, that have been in the trenches with me. And I'll tell you this: if I'm starting a business, or if I need somebody to get a job done, you don't think I'm going to call Mark Rao and the guys that I know that have been through what I've been through, and that have that stick-to-itness and that will to win. And it's these guys that have been in the trenches with us. So we learned so much those 4 summers, way more than my accounting degree and the things that I learned in college. It's the things that I learned on the book field, knocking and talking to Mr. and Mrs. Jones, and learning about life and also perspective. There's things that I tell my kids today about the book field. And I've been married for 25 years. I have 6 children. And, the perspective that you meet by knocking on a trailer house and knocking on the big brick, and learning about people and learning how to build rapport was just amazing. So I'll touch on kind of the things I learned the most, and then we can talk about I'll touch on governorship and Gateway for a second. During my probably between my 3rd and 4th year, Tom Boyd, who was also a mentor of Rao's, and he was our what'd you call that? He was the big boss, regional director. Yeah. So he was our director, and it was so awesome when he would come to Oklahoma State and see us. And so in probably, I don't know if I think I was a senior, maybe it's between my 3rd and 4th year, Tom Boyd comes to town, and he encourages me. He said, Kevin, he goes, write down your lifetime goals. Just dream big. I want you to write 50 of them down. And don't worry about what it is. Just if it's in your heart, put it down there, because I believe that God puts desires and dreams in everyone's heart, and that need to come out, that the Lord wants to bless you and wants to accomplish through you. And so Lou Holtz kind of made that famous. So I remember sitting there, I hadn't graduated from college, and I start writing my list down. One of them was build my parents a house, which I've done that now. And one of them was become governor of Oklahoma. And I thought to myself, man, that's too big. Why is that coming out of my heart? There's no possible way. I don't know any governors. My parents aren't political. My dad was a pastor. They're not rich. And I remember crossing it out, and I wrote, have dinner with the governor. So that's what I thought in my head was, okay, one of my lifetime goals, I want to have dinner with the governor. Well, now I get to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with the governor. I need to skip a few meals, actually. But my point in telling you that is no dream is too big. You can accomplish anything you set your mind to. And if it's in your heart, it's amazing. I still have that list. And it is amazing. I have gone through that list and checked them off. And your mind learns how to make things happen when you write those things down. And so I learned that from Southwestern and the mentors and the people that taught me how to set goals and set quarterly goals. Even on the book field, if you remember, we're setting what do we call it? They're we divide the days into three, right?
Goal periods.
Goal periods, yes. So I mean, we've got goal periods goals. I mean, you talk about being in the zone. It's when you're actually breaking your life down into 3 times a day, and that's how in the zone we were when we were out there selling books. So then fast forward. So got out of college, started my company, and I'll give you one quick story there. So 2007, the financial crisis was happening. And I thought my company was going to go out of business. It was about 7 years old at the time, and it was terrible. I remember wanting to quit my own company 1,000 times, just like I did on the book field. And I drew from that experience was like, no, Mark Rao told me the answer to every problem is behind the next door. I'm not quitting until I win. I'm not giving up until I win. But I remember literally thinking, man, I should have gotten the pharmaceutical business. Why did I not get in the pharmaceutical industry? All of my college buddies were playing golf on Fridays and they were making more money than me, and they were in the pharmaceutical business. But then I remembered what Tom Boyd told me: marry your territory. Do not wish you were in this territory. Oh, if I would be selling that many books, if I'd gotten that territory or that territory. It's a loser strategy. Don't wish you were married to somebody else. Don't wish you were gotten to that career or that career. You make your career, you make your territory, you make your life a championship team. And then that's what I told my team at Gateway. Hey, Bank of America has nothing on us. Wells Fargo has nothing on us. We make our team the world champions. We make our team the Super Bowl champions. And I will go to war with everybody on my team, and we're together in the trenches. And so that's all those things that we learned. And so grew that for 20 years, and just amazing what happened. And like Ralph said, we got over 1,000 employees, and we ended up buying a bank. So it's called Gateway First Bank now. And then in 2018, I just felt like the Lord was now bringing up that little dream in my heart from when I was 22. And it was like, just dropped on me, hey, it's time to run for governor. I had to Google, when is the governor's race? I knew nothing about politics. I wasn't on any boards or anything like that. And matter of fact, this is kind of funny. I was, during the campaign, I was on my way from Tulsa to Oklahoma City, and I'm listening to NPR on the news, and they're on the radio. And they're like, yeah, the governor race is going on. We got this person, this person, this person. And then we got this Kevin Stitt guy. It's like he just woke up one day and decided to run for governor. We've never heard of the guy. And I'm like laughing, listening to the radio, going, that's right. I did it. That's exactly what happened. And so anyway, made that decision to run for governor. I was so scared. I didn't think I was very good at talking in front of people. I was more of a one-on-one communicator, but I didn't like big groups. And so I was really nervous, but it's back to the mental decision. Once you make that mental decision and you commit in your mind that you're going to do something, it's amazing how your body figures out how to get there and figures out how to make it happen. So we don't always have all the answers. And there's probably people on this call that, well, what if this happens? Where am I going to stay? What is this going to do? Hey guys, if we've done it before, if anybody's done it before, you're not going to have all the answers. Not everything's going to be buttoned up for you before you jump out there and tackle something new. But that shouldn't keep you from going chasing your dreams. So the campaign was amazing. I went to all 77 counties, had to meet all, everybody in Oklahoma. It feels like all 4 million Oklahomans. But the thing that I drew from the most, both in business and as running for governor, is schedule. I mean, how many times did they drill? I don't know if you guys still talk about schedule, but I will not get off schedule. No matter what. I worked from 8 o'clock till 9:30 at night when I was on the book field. And then I worked from 8 to, and when I was running for governor, literally I'd leave my house at 6 in the morning, come home at 10 o'clock at night, went all over the state. and just outworked everybody. I can control the controllables, and maybe they're going to be smarter than me and they knew more politics than me, but nobody was going to outwork me. Nobody's going to set up more appointments. Nobody's going to meet more people. And at the end of the day, I was able to win it and beat a very popular mayor of Oklahoma City and a lieutenant governor coming out of nowhere. And there were 10 people running, and won the race. But schedule is something that definitely I learned. Dreaming big, that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. The perseverance, the hard work, those are skills that man, those are just so important to all forms of life. But also, Mark, I think building rapport. I mean, we learned by knocking on those doors how to build that rapport that I think it's second nature, but people really, it helps me so much in politics, and people end up liking you, and you understand how to build that rapport with them and how to connect with them very, very quickly. And we learned that all in the book field. In my office, and I'm going to open up some questions. I've got 2 trophies besides some political stuff, and I was just on Saturday night in the White House with President Biden, and I've met Trump, and I've met George W. Bush. But here's what I have in my office. I've got my 1993 Gold Seal Gold Award that I'm super proud of. And this is in my governor's office right now. And so people ask me about it, and it's the Calvin Coolidge quote about nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. The other thing I have in my office is my Mort Utley Award. And so here I am, governor of the state of Oklahoma, and 2 of my most prized possessions are from my time at Southwestern Company. And the Mort Utley Award is a whole nother story. And man, it's pretty hard to win this one. I don't know if it's still out there, but back then we had to sell 1,000 units in a week, and probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 kids per summer would hit it. And I did it my 4th summer. And if anybody's on here looking, trying to hit that, you got to show the units. It's hard to do, but again, Tom Boyd came and told me, just show your whole bag. So I just decided, okay, it's now or never this summer. And so literally I started showing the, whatever it was the 40 unit package. I mean, I had the 10 Bible library. I had all the books. I had I did the whole package. It was a $2,000 set or something. And once you start selling those, that's the way I ended up hitting board that one week. But it was a huge win. So again, let me just stop right there. And Mark, I don't know if you have a few questions or not.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I mean, honestly, buddy, I'm reading through this list of questions, and you nailed most of them. When we had you and I talked about this before the call, but when we had the Speaker of the House talk to us a couple of weeks ago, he had talked about, had he not done those 4 summers, he did 4 too, like you. He didn't know if he'd be able to navigate the smallest majority in the history of Congress, and how he has to go back and forth with people that have such differing views and stuff. What is there anything that you can speak to that maybe you learned in your summers that have helped you with specific situations in your first couple of years as a governor or running the state of Oklahoma that maybe you've drawn from in the past from your summers?
I think hiring the team, I ended up recruiting, 2 20-man teams, and then being the sales manager and having other guys recruiting people. And I think putting that team together, because in government, it's like running a business, in the fact that you have to set a vision, you have to inspire people, you got to point them in the right direction. And those are all things I learned in that 2nd or 3rd year in selling books, is putting that team together, and then being in the trenches with them and leading from in front. And I'm never going to ask you to do something I'm not willing to do. And all the things that we learned from the book field, I've carried them over to the business world and now into politics.
And then you talked about, your decision to do this your first summer, and how you were, kind of going between this, and you probably had some skeptics from your fraternity house you talked about. How were you said, well, how were you able to overcome that? And then has that been a consistent thing in your career, with just having people tell you can't do something, or, you said something about the NPR laughing at you about being, who's this guy running for governor? Probably your mortgage company, you had some things to overcome, but are skeptics a thing that people can count on for their whole lives? And how has that affected you?
Yeah, I mean, back in the book field, I knew that there were some guys that kind of made fun of me, and oh, you're the book guy. And even when I came back after my first summer, people would make fun of you. But a lot of times people, they don't mean anything by it. They just don't know what to say. But yeah, let those let those skeptics motivate you. Not very many people gave me a shot to win governor. But now when I say I want to do something, a lot of people say, yeah, I bet you could do it. Because after you keep proving them. But that's also what you learn. I mean, I'm telling you, a lot of young people on this call, and I've had a chance to meet the president of the United States, every single governor, um, billionaires all across the country. And you can do anything you set your mind to. These people are no different than you are. It's so true. The analogy, everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. But there's always going to be naysayers and people telling you can't do it. And oh, I've heard some bad stories about that. And sure, there's going to be people that aren't successful and come back and poo-poo something. But man, there's a lot of people that got a lot out of it, and it's what you put into life that you're going to get out of it. So let that stuff motivate you. I remember Tom Boyd. Remember him telling us, when you get butterflies, let those butterflies fly in formation. That's something I always remember him talking to us about. So we're going to be scared. There's going to be skeptics, but don't keep that from doing the hard thing, the rewarding thing, the thing that is going to be the best thing for insert your name for your future.
Yeah, we'll end on this, Kevin. Thank you. Since this is a majority of first years, you did talk about one of the reasons you set an all-time company record your first summer was being super coachable. Anything that you can point to during the summer, or situations or things that you did that would be great advice for these first years in being a top first year this summer?
I mean, the schedule is the most important thing. Don't ever, 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 ever get off schedule. One day, I don't know, like my third or fourth week, I actually forgot my order book at home, and I'm like, oh my gosh! But my sales manager had drilled that into my head, so I went by Walmart and I bought a little receipt book, and I kept right on working and just wrote receipts. Ended up selling books, and then I wrote my number and I said, "Here's your receipt," and I came back and delivered at the end of the summer. Now, most people would have gone back to their headquarters, but you can never go back to your headquarters during the day. I don't know if you still teach that, but I'm just telling you, I've seen it time and time again. You get off schedule one time, and it turns into 30 minutes, an hour, and a half day, and then a day. And it's so hard to ever get back going. That's one thing that I would definitely recommend, is you make the commitment that you're not going to get off schedule, and then be just super coachable. I think that's something that Mr. and Miss Jones can kick you in the teeth if you're not coachable, if you're not doing the sales pitch like you're supposed to, if you're not knocking on the doors like you're supposed to. But if you put in the demos and you put in the work, and you will get better at things and how to read people and how to figure out what the need is for that family, you'll be able to do that. And then, listen, guys, talking about education, promoting education for the summer is great for families to talk about. It brings families together, and the kids can see, hey, mom and dad are investing in my education, and that's important. And mom and dad are scraping together to invest and to buy books for me and my siblings. And that's fun to see, as parents are trying to do what's right for their kids, and they want their kids to know that they have all the tools to be successful.
Thanks, Kevin, man. You've been such a great ambassador for us, and I really appreciate it.